Welcome, everyone, to the fourth annual Localized Virtual Career Fair. We are so excited to have you here, and we're talking a lot today around AI. We're joined today with Hussein. Is it Al-Natsheh? Is that how you pronounce your last name?
Al-Natsheh. Yes. Al-Natsheh.
Al-Natsheh. Very nice to meet you, Hussein Al-Natsheh.
Right.
We're going to be talking. We're going to be talking today about unstructured data, about generative AI, and about career paths and opportunities within this new, or I guess, very old but new technological space. We're going to be learning about your path and your journey, becoming a CTO. You were also previously, I believe, a founder, and you hold a PhD in data science or data mining, I believe. So we'll talk a little bit about these different areas of your own career path.
All right. Was it
Can
a
you
cut
see
from
me?
my side or your side? Sorry. Uh,
I think it was my side. I think my
right.
side was cut off. I'm currently, for those of you that don't know, I'm currently in Cairo, and we have 3-hour power outages, so it's very exciting for us here. Always staying very aware and awake, but hopefully that should be good. But I don't know if you heard me before. I want to just make sure this is recording. Yes, okay, great. So just by way of introduction, Hussein, you hold a PhD in data science. You hold a master's in computer engineering. You also were a founder previously of a startup company and are now the CTO of Beyond Limits within Gen.ai and unstructured data. I would love for you to give us a little introduction about yourself and just about your journey from actually learning and being educated in this space to starting your career.
Right. Thank you, Salma, and good morning or good afternoon, everyone joining this, or good evening for some of you. I'm not sure. I'm glad that this is a global virtual job fair event. I'll start by thanking Localize for organizing this session. Glad to be part of this job fair, virtual job fair. So as Salma introduced, my name is Hussein Al-Natsheh. Um, I'm currently based in the Middle East, in particular Abu Dhabi. My current role with a company called Beyond Limits. It's a company headquartered in Los Angeles, California. It's a spin out from Caltech, which is a well-known university, the lab that works for NASA JPL lab, Jet Propulsion Labs. The mission of that company is to commercialize recent AI research that was proven for some space missions into industrial applications. So I'm heading the unstructured data and Gen AI team and running operations when it comes to technology in the EMEA region, Europe, Middle East, and Africa, starting from Abu Dhabi, UAE. I'm also working in some projects in Saudi Arabia. My technical background, as Salma said, I hold a PhD in data science, in particular information retrieval. I did this studies in France, and the University of Lyon. I got there as a scholarship because of my recent work in the master degrees, which I did at CERN in Geneva. The topic was very similar to what I did in the PhD. It's around text mining and how to retrieve information and deal with this unstructured data. Prior to that, I had also another 2 master degrees. One of them, as you said, in computer engineering, but also another one in data mining and knowledge management, one from Italy and one from France, which I did the thesis at CERN for. Prior to that, I had an undergrad degree in computer engineering from Jordan. Quickly, maybe as background, why I'm in this field. I graduated first in 2004 as an engineer, young engineer. The topic I liked in the studies was AI, in particular neural networks. It was a new, very theoretical, doesn't have much of applications. I worked for a couple of years in technical support, maintenance, networking, which is I didn't like a lot. So I decided to pursue this field, which is I liked from the university, which is AI. To do that, I thought it was not enough. It was only one topic at the university. So I decided to do this master thesis specialized in AI, where my master thesis was about applying machine learning and data mining, web mining in particular, to do some customer retention and segmentation automatically. Luckily, while working for a non-for-profit organization in Jordan, Amman, which is Green Island Center for Entrepreneurship, I was helping young entrepreneurs to identify potential IPs, how to commercialize their technologies and ideas. So I learned that by helping others to do it and getting some training. So I decided to commercialize my master's degree into a startup. I got funded by the European Commission and the Jordanian government and got incubated in a technical business incubator in Jordan called iPark. I spent 2 years there before I got graduated as a startup. I hired a few colleagues and engineers where we come up with a couple of products and we commercialize, have few clients in Saudi, Egypt, and US-based company with operations in Jordan. That was an exciting experience. I realized as far as I go, commercializing AI into commercial startup and products, I still lack a lot of learning. And so I got a scholarship to do this master's degrees in Europe. So I took that decision. I kept the company open. And one of the senior engineers, I got him as a partner to run operations. While I was in the PhD, I got an opportunity to work with a company called Mojaz in Jordan, which was at that time one of the largest Arabic portals, similar to Wikipedia, but specialized in Arabic, top visited Arabic website. So the first engagement was they want to go and implement AI, going from only content creation side into something, applying AI to change the way their users are using their website, which is information extraction or information retrieval. So instead of going into search keyword by keyword and get the information, why can't the users ask questions and get the answers? And why not to do it with voice? And how to do, like, there is a lot of demand. They were at a stage of getting Series A investment. So we got together and we decided that they want to acquire my startup. So with my team, we joined and formed what's called Mojaz.ai. So I started establishing the team, the technology things. Until that time, I graduated from my PhD. I relocated from France to Jordan, run operations. We started with like a team of 5. After 3 years or 4, we reached a team of 85. It was, as far as I know, the biggest AI team in the region. We built from ground up AI technologies in Arabic NLP, starting from having a team of linguists, building the data sets, which is lacking. The problem with Arabic is, we call it in the community, under-resourced language. So we had to build these resources to build automation or apply AI to have the machine understand the Arabic language in multiple dialects. We have like Egyptian, Syrian, Saudi things. So we worked there at text as voice. We built the voice assistant called Salma. We launched it on
Thank you.
actually in Silicon Valley, was within Tech Wadi conference there back to the 2019 February. It was just before Google announced their support of Arabic in their in Ask Google. So, but yeah,
Wow,
things went
timing.
well.
Time.
Yeah, and it was at that time Siri in Arabic wasn't doing well. So we made a buzz with this disturb the industry. We saw that we can do it. Arabic could be part of this easy way of
Yeah.
man-machine interface and have it as an assistant. So that was one of, I would say, a good achievements by the team that I'm proud of. And then we also built something similar to Grammarly, but that supports Arabic very well. So starting from the same layer of technologies that we've built over 3 years, and we have invested a lot in resources, time, and money. We also launched this other products called Qalam. And now Qalam is a subsidiary for Mawdu, as well as Salma.ai now is a subsidiary for Mawdu. It's now focusing more into banking applications. At that time, I thought that I reached a good saturation at Mawdu, and I got this. I joined Beyond Limits to expand their operations in the Middle East and Europe. So I've been with them now plus 3 months so far. So maybe a long introduction, but that's maybe shed lights on my career path in AI, on how I got there from education till today. It's like around 20 years of experience since first graduation.
No, and it's excellent because I think you've touched in your career, you've touched in a lot of different areas. You've touched on the earlier stages, like you were mentioning, of like customer service and working in this area, all the way to the later stages of founding a company and then to running and expanding an even larger company. And so you've kind of seen all of the different areas in which not only in which a company operates, but also in which probably the technology has developed, right? You were at the cutting edge of AI in Arabic, and then now we're in a totally different space where Arabic is part of the AI system very fluidly. And so I'm curious as to, from your own experience and your involvement with the technology, right? What are the developments that you've seen that um, have helped you to build your career within AI? So what I mean by that is previously you were working as a founder, and you at that time or around that time, maybe a little bit earlier, you were getting your PhD in data science. And so you were probably applying a lot of what you were learning in your actual career. What are the pieces of information that helped you to apply it to your career? Was it a certain type of I'm not fluid in data science terminology, by the way, but was it a certain kind of uh, set of information, courses, extracting information? What was it that helped you kind of launch your career after that?
Sure. My undergrad background was computer engineering. We has little of programming at that time when you talk to the year like from 2000 to 2004. So and entering the field of AI and even doing a master thesis there, where as like research or applied research, I was like doing some limited coding just to prove a concept or develop a new algorithm that got published. My first publication was IEEE at 2007, and then followed by a lot of other publications. But it wasn't like enterprise grade or something that you can use in practice or commercializing it. So I learned it the hard way. I learned it by doing work, consulting work for other bigger companies or clients. One of the things that get me into that is working with a project with a company, a US-based company called Choose-On, and then that was renamed into Blue Kangaroo. The founder and maybe CTO of, not CTO, CEO of that company, Dr. Osama Fayyad, was one of the pioneer Arab diaspora in the US who works with big companies like Yahoo. He was one of the first named chief data officer. So working for that company under that leadership and the team he hired, even I was building or co-building AI technologies for them. I learned a lot how to go from algorithmic data mining and data science kind of code into something that can scale, that actually not necessarily very accurate, but fast respond. Like you can get, for example, that solution we built there, it's a personalized recommender engine, something similar to what you have in Amazon. Like this is other customers also liked, based on your shopping and searches, this is what we recommend to you. So this kind of, behind that is a lot of machine learning algorithms to predict what's most probably will be interested in to buy, but it needs to be like in milliseconds. So going to that scale. So practically, back to your question, learn it by practice. And then you're joining multiple master programs in Europe helped me also a lot. And also making an internship, not an internship, internship at CERN. There I learned a lot from one of the co-founders of one of the big, well-known library in machine learning called scikit-learn. So I was lucky to be supervised by him, Dr. Gilles Loup. So I learned how to do things in a very structured way. Again, I came from a computer engineering background, not computer science. And then I did this second master degree in computer science, learning how to do this. So that helps me a lot. The master program also exposed me to other areas in the AI field, like semantic web, data mining, semantic analysis. There is a lot of other like subfields. We got exposed to all of them. And I was doing this dual masters in 2 universities. So I had learned a lot of these, and it was an applied master thesis. Even my PhD was kind of an applied, but which is something good in France. They have this, what they call industrial PhD, where you do an applied research. Like the end of your research, yes, you publish multiple papers and publications, conferences and others, but the ultimate goal is to build a solution. And the solution I was co-building with my colleagues is an information retrieval system, semantic information retrieval system over millions of scientific publications for the government of France. It's a project called ESTEC. So yeah, learning by doing, learning from more senior people, bigger companies, and also master the basics and how to do scalable code, well-documented, very similar to what open source libraries does. And to give an example, scikit-learn. This style of coding is not like a coding for something that give you an accurate prediction. Actually, something can work at scale. It's also efficient in terms of consumption of computing resources and memories. And so that is very, because these are runs millions of times. When you build libraries, it's something you build. So I was part of an open source project at CERN. That's there I learned a lot. And then as I go and I went building a team, I was learning also from my team members, because a person cannot have it all. You will find someone in your team is excellent in architecture or software engineering and backend and front end. So we exchange knowledge. Others are focusing more on good in data science or algorithmic, or even how to deal with product management, QA, how to do QA automation. So all of these fields you learn within your organization from your colleagues. We're all having some kind of weekly knowledge sharing sessions where each time someone spends few months solving a piece of his area or problem and learns something new, he prepares some slides and presents it to the whole team. So it was kind of this knowledge sharing, plus online courses. The field of AI is, as everyone sees, it's each week you have something new, new announcements. It's accelerating very fast now. It was less accelerating before, but now it's actually rapidly accelerates. So if you're not up to date, you cannot keep reading, attending, and we are lucky now to have a lot of free online courses available from top universities, top providers, hosted by top global scientists from universities like Stanford, MIT, and others. So anyone in such field needs to keep up to date, attending these, participating in conferences. So all of this helps anyone who wants to take AI as a career is important.
But you're talking about, just in terms of these courses, you're also talking about somebody who has the foundation already of working in AI. So whether they already have an understanding of coding, or they have an understanding of data sciences, like a foundation, and then the courses that you're talking about are just for new technology or new information that's coming out, just to stay up to date within the realm. Is that right?
That's right, but it's not a rule. I know some of my ex-colleagues came from a completely different background, and they start their career in AI by these online courses, starting from the foundational ones, and then build up on that, learning by doing, and keep having advanced specialized courses. And surprisingly, these type of people who like change career, like from mechanical engineering, let's say, into data science, are actually excellent. Sometimes they are the best in the team. So yeah, I agree with what you said, but also there is always a room someone, and now it's becoming more easy because there is a lot of online courses. Technology is easier. There is a lot of packages. Everything's abstracted. It's kind of now more into Lego building. However, always the one who has the solid and good foundation from the bottom up is important, even if it's not the university studies. But if you need to start, you always go to the foundations, understand the math, doing some examples. You shouldn't master math or statistics or probabilities, but at least you know how to code, quality coding. And you can have an AI career not as a developer or coder. There is other disciplines there, like AI product management, like QA for AI models, UX, UI for AI products, which is different when you do like human-machine interaction, product UI, UX design. So there is a lot of even AI salesperson or consultant, or so it doesn't requires to be a coder or developer in order to build a career in AI. There is also other sub disciplines where it varies, and because it varies, the type of knowledge you need to have is also different. But it's always having foundations, and solid foundations give you a strength and differentiator aspect whenever you are dealing with clients or even within your company.
That's great. And then, so just in terms of for people that are wondering, or for people that are coming into this space, whether from another career or right out of graduation, can you talk to us a little bit about the sort of challenges that you're seeing in AI right now? So what are the challenges that they should be looking to solve, or that they can be going into maybe with new, fresh ideas, because they're either coming out of a different career or because they're coming out of graduation? Where can they start to kind of explore?
Yeah, this is an interesting question, an important one for at least since I entered this field, there were some waves in technology that you need to understand and master and be skillful at in order to use it as a career. So it started like first with machine learning, classical machine learning, and then we have this wave or revolution in deep learning. So if we are in an era of deep learning and someone only starting learning about classical machine learning, not deep, then we know that the state of the art is like deep learning at that era. If you are not able to use this technology, you are behind. Now with the era of like transformers and large language models, you should know how to do classical machine learning and deep learning, but also the market now has a high demand, and they will go after Gen AI, not an older technologies. So it's at the end of the day, it's a form of a deep learning. So if you don't know the deep learning, you cannot maybe understand well how large language model works. The same analogy when transition from classical machine learning to deep learning. So you should start from the latest, in my opinion, but knowing and understanding how the older generation technology works, because sometimes you don't need the latest to solve a certain problem. But if you don't know this latest state-of-the-art technology, your chances are low in hiring or in even winning a client proposal. Or it's a big differentiator. And now, again, it's easier with the aid of online courses and technologies and virtual conferences and job fairs like this to learn and read about access to knowledge. Now it's much easier than before. So it's always good to learn the latest. And as technology evolves, using technology and as a developer is easier. As you know, technologies like ChatGPT now or Copilot, you can even just say what you want and it's generate you the code. So it's not how to code, it's how to make sure how to solve the problem as much as coding it. And this would be like a trend. I mean, it's not gonna stop there. So, but as a pattern, my advice is to go after the latest technologies, start there. And the way that online courses, as I see it today, is structured in a way that give you the minimal thing that you need to understand, unlike math, but not go deeper. You can if you want, or you have time to excel there as well, but give you what is sufficient to do applied AI, which is what companies looking for. I hope that answers your question, or was I answering something else?
It does, but it's a little bit broad in the sense, like I think we can go a little bit specific, and actually this question that just came in is perfect for that. So Malik is asking about more of the hard skills. So you were talking a little bit more on like, in general, keeping up with the learning, knowing about the new technologies, going into the kind of overall sphere. But what about the hard skills? So she's asking about, Node.js or Java? Do they need to know Python, or do they, like, can you give us a few of the maybe foundational technologies that they need to very clearly understand in order to go in? So specific hard skills.
So a career in data science, the preferred programming language is Python. For sure, and any libraries related to. So it's deep learning, I would go with I would recommend PyTorch and similar. There are many other libraries. Before in machine learning, classical machine learning, it's scikit-learn. Again, that maybe it was all built in Python. Yes, we have other languages, but it's easier now. It's well adopted in the open source community, Python. And up to the Gen AI and what you can download and see in the open source communities and what's published by companies like Meta recently and others. And from Hugging Face as a marketplace where you can download and benchmark. So yes, as a hard skill, coding with, I would say, Python is very important. This is the key. I mean, a data scientist without how to code in Python or develop on top of a Python open source library is like I don't know, a doctor without like basic tools to make operations. So it's a key hard skill you need to, and it's easy. It's not, and maybe this is because Python is easy. Even like languages like Java or C#, stronger and better and in my opinion, like as performance. But because it's the easiness, it's very easy to. It's like this scripting. It's a scripting language, so it's easier for a human to understand and write versus like classical object-oriented coding, because it's easy and also it's built on top of C++, sometimes computational components, so it's still efficient and fast and easy to deploy, and you can try it in things like Jupyter Notebook first. It was widely adopted by the community scientific community, open source community, and also industrial community. So luckily we are, and there are maybe other new languages that maybe will take over soon, but I would recommend Python as a hard skill to focus on, at least to start with.
Okay, great. And then in terms of somebody, so we'll use Beyond Limits as an example, but there was a question that came in around standing out as an applicant. So if somebody's coming in as a data scientist and there are hundreds, maybe thousands of applications coming in for these positions, how can an individual make themselves stand out in these applications? Is it particular skills that they should be putting at the top of their resume? Is it reaching out directly to an individual? Is it having a project that they did on the side? Is it their internships? Is it something else? Like, can you give us some specifics and maybe think of one example of a standout candidate where you were like, oh, I want to interview this person, and why?
So again, in AI team, there are several roles. It's not only a machine learning engineer or data scientist, but in my team, the data science managers or directors who are the hiring managers for these roles usually look to previous experience, skills in problem solving, not necessarily being like good in writing syntax or code, but how to solve the problem. Relevant projects is important. So even without long years of experience, if you do nice, well-documented projects, even like projects not with companies, sometimes you can do projects as a freelance or while you are doing your studies or build your career, you maybe work on some projects and publish it in like in GitHub. And then the ability to understand and answer some foundational knowledge in machine learning and in applied math. When you design a technical solution or an AI solution, justifying your choices without have end-to-end practical projects as part of a team or even yourself. Decisions like, for example, how you measure success, how you define success criteria. In machine learning, usually you do like this blind testing or cross-validation analysis. So if these concepts are not there in the candidate when we conduct a technical interview, it's a sign that this person is not, it's not his career, or it's not what we are looking for. So you need to learn well the foundations, latest technologies, trying it out, applying some projects, understand how it's applied and why it's applied, and have some logic behind it, and be able to understand and reason. So if you are not asking the right questions when you are working on these projects and just doing it for the sake of doing it without understanding why, then it's, for us, it's an indicator that it's not a career. Recently, we were focusing on hiring senior data scientists more than juniors. However, through internship programs we conducted recently, like 2 years ago and last year, we hired some of the interns who conducted summer internship with us, either in the US office or in the Middle East offices, or either in APAC. So some of them are actually now mid-level data scientists, and they are stars in the team. And they excel in their internship. They show seriousness, and they learned a lot, and they report their work. And some of their works were reused in bigger products, so they would be part of this, and they keep like enhancing. Like in many applications we do, for example, in computer vision, when it comes to smart mobility, or in information retrieval. In a recent product we have called Beyond Search with like a conversational AI, or other industrial applications when it comes to, for example, predictive maintenance and others. So some of these projects are components of these big products and projects we define as an internship opportunity, summer internship. And Beyond Limits has this very good internship summer program where we hire a lot of students, either from undergrad or grad degrees, and some of them stay with us and continue their career. But when we hire a new joiners, and especially if senior positions, we expect that seniors master the foundations. They have this ability to answer the questions, why design questions, and also some soft skills, which is important, how to work in a teamwork. And if a senior position, for example, how to being able to monitor and help others who are less senior and help them to become seniors.
And what would you classify as somebody senior? Is it a specific number of years of experience? Is it in specifically the field? Is it somebody who has maybe 5-6 years work experience, but only a couple of years in the data science field? Is it somebody who maybe only has a couple of years in the data science field, but has done something, like founded a company or something else? What can you define senior for those who maybe don't know if they fit that category?
So seniority, yes, years of experience is an indicator, but it's not the criteria. Some people have maybe more than 15 years of experience, but when we interview them, we cannot classify them as a senior level. So senior level for us is people who can design a solution, who can actually justify their design choices from a solid background and foundational understanding. They are up to date. They make difference in accuracies and production or industrial grade applications because of their experience. But this experience is not by how long, it's the quality of that experience. It could be 2-3 years, and he is maybe better than 10 plus years experienced person. So that's in the job description of a senior, we have these, and in the interview of seniors, we check these skill set and competencies. As I said, also ability to communicate, right? Because the position of senior, you need to document and being able to work within a team. Maybe less senior, you can maybe reassign some tasks and help them reviewing their deliveries. So it's yes, seniority based on the role, but at least when it comes to data science or AI solutions managers or product managers, AI product managers or alike, we look to some these kind of competencies and maturity as an expert. Real, it's not like a practitioner. Someone knows his career, is able to operate with least amount of monitoring or managerial. Like his manager wouldn't need to stay with him a lot or her a lot. They can have ownership. They can operate by their own, and the quality of their work is high and justifiable. It's not just doing that without knowing why I'm doing that choices.
Yeah, which makes sense. So it's a mix. It's not necessarily the years of experience, but it's not necessarily just limited to the scope of their work. It's a little bit of a mix of a few different aspects of what makes an individual a senior. Actually, on that note, there
a good indicator, sorry for interrupting, is in this, especially in this field of maybe data science and AI, if that person has a master degrees, it's a good indicator that he chose or she chose that as a career, and they well studied the foundations. So a master's degree or PhD degree it help. Again, it's not a way to identify a senior, but it's a big plus, especially in this field.
Yeah, I have actually heard that a lot, just in terms of higher education for specifically these types of careers. It actually is even more relevant than a lot of other careers, I think, that have, outgrown the master's programs. And this kind of relates to a question that somebody asked around entrepreneurship, and just in terms of learning, in terms of skill sets, how in depth do you need to go? Or do you need to have knowledge, or do you need to gain skills in order to be an entrepreneur? So this person asked specifically around building a Gen AI tool. How much should they know about LLMs or cloud development or machine learning engineering? Is it possible to manage a team without knowing all of these domains?
Yeah, the short answer, yes, it's possible. It's not a prerequisite. at the end of the day, a startup or entrepreneur it's a business. It's not, even it's a technology or high-tech startup, running a business doesn't require, I mean, you can have a CTO doing that for you, but how to take this to market, how to design customer-centric or build something relevant, address the market needs, and know that this, whatever you will develop, actually the clients are willing to pay for, have a good sales force with a good network. And so it's a different story. I mean, being like a CEO of a startup, even if it's a tech startup or non-tech, for me, it's the same story. Of course, if you have a knowledge about the technology, it helps, but you don't need depth knowledge. I mean, you should learn, understand the recent technologies, how it works from a higher level, so that you can communicate and tell your elevator pitch about your startup as a tech startup, of course. But your colleagues who are leading the technology, who are the ones needs to be in depth. But as maybe entrepreneur or a co-founder as a CTO, yeah, then or others or CPO or responsible for technology, again, based on the level, if you are executive versus manager versus individual contributor, if you are, your responsibility or description is like more hands-on, you need to be hands-on. But you don't need to know it all to start up your business or your tech startup. You can even, I know people who run and build the startups, even outsourcing it to freelancers, but they know what to solve. And they know how to manage a business and how to bring sales and revenue. And that's more important in the entrepreneurial space. I'm not an expert, but out of maybe experience, having a startup that I exited before, and working with like as an executive with a still like AI startup, I would call, even we are like 10 years old company, medium size, big, around 400 people now. But as a culture, still we are like an AI startup in a sense of we're still figuring out the business model and how to commercialize. And so yeah, still you can be an entrepreneur within your company as well, like entrepreneurship, innovating products. I mean, our product managers and product owners, I kind of have this entrepreneurial skill set as well, how to bring technology to market and how to build the relevant product and how to prioritize your feature set and your product backlog and so on.
That's helpful. And we'll close out on this last question. So somebody is asking about the socioeconomic impact addressed from AI. And I think what they mean by this, so they're asking as it raises concern on job displacement, needs for reskilling of workforce, and addressing the socioeconomic disparities. So they're asking in general how this impact is being addressed. And maybe you can answer it in general, but maybe you can also answer it in terms of Beyond Limits, for example, if there are individuals that are upskilling within the company, because you had mentioned earlier, like the free courses that are happening that you've found, is there a culture of learning that is developing? Are you seeing that in general? Can you answer either in general, or if you want to talk more specifically on the company, you can do that.
I'm not sure if I get the question right or if it's like has a multi-side question, but generally
I think it's a multi-side question, but I think the gist of what she's asking or he's asking is around now that AI is kind of taking a new form in a lot of different disciplines, are companies not necessarily taking responsibility, but are they helping their employees to grow and develop so that they can also work in these spheres? Or are they just saying, you know what, if you don't know it, then khalas, you're out of the company and we're gonna find somebody that actually has these skills. I think that's the gist of, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's the gist of the question.
Yeah, I think that's the reality, especially in private companies, it's for-profit companies. If someone, especially in this field, if you don't keep developing and upskilling yourself and being up to date and use technology to boost your skill set and enhance your performance, then you will be behind. The first opportunity that maybe the company find a better candidate for that job that who or she can do things better and faster, you will be replaced. So instead, you should use AI or use technology in general and learn it, be aware of it, upskill yourself. But you have the choice. If you don't want to stay behind or stay not up to date, yeah, you are in a big risk. Even the whole job role you are doing might be replaced with another job role. So yeah, it has this social economic impact, of course. And I think it's not only for AI, it's general in any technological revolution and background, but it's more obvious in AI. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Hussein, and thank you so much for your in-depth answers, for giving us insights into not only the company that you work for and your previous experience, but also just letting us hear a little bit about you and your journey, because I know a lot of people are really interested in starting their work journey, but they don't know what the first step could be. So I think it's very comforting to hear that you've been in all of these different stages and that they could do it too. If somebody wants to reach out to you and ask you a question, or if they wanted to follow up, I know there were a lot of questions coming in. Can they reach out to you directly? Is that something that they could do?
Yeah, they can using localized platform. I think there is a chatting
Perfect.
functionality, or they can send
Yes.
the questions to yourself or one of your colleagues. And I'm available on LinkedIn. If you can find me out with my name, Hussein Al-Natsheh, please send an invite. I'll connect. Just maybe last advice I'll leave the audience with is you don't need to do an AI career unless you have passion about it, because it's not an easy one. It's good. It's well rewarding now, but in general, whatever technology field or even non-tech field you have passion about, then you can follow and excel in. We don't need all people to be like AI expert or build a career in AI unless you have a real passion about it. But you should know it and should learn it
That
and boost your skill set with it. Yeah. Thank you.
do
Thank you
what
for
you love, so you love what you do.
exactly. Very well said.
Very true.
No,
And
thank
for
you.
those of you that were asking a lot about just standing out in the job search, just so you know, I put a link in the chat, but our next session with Iyad Yaqub is around standing out in the job search and storytelling in your career. So for those of you that are looking for a role right now, are getting started, that's definitely a session you don't want to miss. Hussein, thank you so, so much for being here. We really appreciate your time and your energy. And we hopefully look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye. Bye, everyone.